Well, everybody, welcome. I am Ariel Silver. I am currently serving as the board president of the Folk Alliance Region West organization, Far West, and we cover a whole lot of territory. As I understand it, the history is that SWRFA, the SWRFA region, which is centered in Texas and neighboring areas, SWRFA and Far West, as I understand it, used to be one ginormous territory. And about 20 something years ago, a bunch of folks from the Southern California area said, "Hey, why are we traveling to Texas? Like let's create these two separate things." Jennifer, correct me if I'm wrong about this history, but that's as I understand it. Am I wrong? You
Sounds
don't know.
good to me.
And so the conversation for a lot of the time that I've been on the board of directors at Far West has been, why are we so big? Because we cover the entire west coast of the US and Canada. That includes Alaska and Hawaii, and also in further interior states like Utah, Montana, Wyoming. I'm consulting my website here for a second to see if I have the list, to see where I'm forgetting. Oh, Nevada, Idaho, and then California, Oregon, and Washington as well, plus British Columbia, Yukon Territories, Northwest Territories, and Alberta, Canada. So we have a really big territory, but the thing that, nope, not the Dakotas, Steve. I think that's maybe farm, I'm guessing. Um, um, so as much as this is a giant territory, I just console myself sometimes to think, well, it used to be bigger. And one of the unique challenges that we have in our Far West territory is that unlike NERFA, which is so cute and compact, you literally cannot tour Far West. You can use that, Ethan, as your just tagline. NERFA, so cute and compact.
As a giant 6.5 foot tall man, I don't think I've ever described anything I've ever been involved with in my life as cute and compact. I like that. I'm going to use it.
Awesome. Use it as you want. So for the Far West Territory is not tourable in terms of getting in your car and, driving around and hitting venue to venue. And so we are constantly in conversation about what makes our community and how can we connect across all of our, really the vast region and celebrate the many different cultural origins, histories, traditions, and contemporary manifestations, and all of that of our group. And what's kind of cool is that our region contains, because of the territory, first of all, some of the most beautiful geography that you can find in North America. So vacation destinations along with your touring. But also we have so many different markets and so many different pockets. So this is part of our work, that we're trying to connect these different communities and allow ourselves to sort of have this never ending or real wealth of newness, and just there's so much to learn. So our conference is for all of the years of Far West, we've had, like the other regions, a flagship event during the year, and that's our Far West Conference. It happens in the fall every year. It typically happens in October. As long as I've been aware of the organization, it's been in October. This year it is October 17th through 20th in the LA area. And we move around. So next year, 2025, we'll be in the Pacific Northwest, and who knows where we'll be beyond that. But we do move around. This is the last year of a kind of LA residency that we sort of had on this side of the pandemic. As we're reemerging, we went back to the Warner Marriott Hotel, where I think the very first Far West conferences had been back 20 years ago. And also these were contracts that were signed prior to the pandemic. So we're back in this area for one more time this year. And then next year we head to the PNW. Our conference is a 3-day event, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, plus half of Sunday. And we do a little kickoff on Wednesday night of an open mic at a local venue. And it's a blast. It's really fun. Very similar to the other conferences in that we have the official showcases, we have the private showcases. During the day, we have panels and workshops. Our Thursday night kickoff event is our Venues Choice concert, which is where venues, festival, large venue, small venue, music series, and house concert hosts, um, 4 or 5 of those present artists on the official showcase stage. So it's very similar to the official showcases, and that's a wonderful event. Um, and then during the day, so right now we are creating programming. We are creating, here we are at the beginning of June. We are shoulder deep in our preparations for the conference, and I hope to see you all at it. But we also have, ever since the pandemic and the quarantine time, we've developed online programming. And so we have year-round programming now. And one of those programs is the first Tuesday of every month, the opportunity to bring in a work in progress for the songwriters among us to test out the song and get some feedback, really in a conversation discussion style, if you are familiar with workshop style opportunities. And then I think it's the second and fourth Tuesday of the month, we have something called the Campfire Song Circle. And today, as part of the Folk Plus, Bev is a fan of the campfires. She goes to them. They are a blast. Ever since I became president of this organization, I have not had the extra time to get to them. And it's been, oh, and Storm too. Storm gets to them as well. Yeah. I haven't had time to spend at the campfires as much, which has been really sad. But today there is a campfire hosted by Far West in our typical campfire style, which is basically a song circle, different than the Farm Performance Lane, if you're familiar with their program. For theirs, they select people ahead of time and they create an order, and it's an opportunity. I think people play 2 songs maybe and they showcase. For our campfire, it's whoever shows up, you get a chance if you want to play a song. And if there's enough time before the campfire ends, it goes around the campfire a second time. So it's typically very fun, very heartwarming. And somebody asked a question. I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat. Do you have suggestions on setting your Zoom audio mic for the campfire? That's a great question, Kat. There have been some workshops, and I don't have it noted for myself offhand, but we have done some one-on-one Zoom setting testing for attendees of the campfire so that they can show up. Oh, Penelope, do you have info on
Yeah,
that?
I want to speak to that. So there's a session a half an hour ahead of time that will help. Joel Tepp will help you set up we'll do a sound check for you and help you figure out what's going to sound best.
Penelope, does he do that before every single campfire?
Yep, it's been a feature for the last several months. So the campfire starts at 7 if you want to be in on the sound check. When you sign up for it, it asks you that, and the sound check starts at 6:30, and he'll work with you individually, whatever
It's
you're using.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
it's
and then
very
the other
effective.
thing about the campfire is that we have a theme every
Yeah.
time, which you may sing a song related to that, or you may choose not to. But it has resulted in some very interesting contributions.
Do you know is there a theme for today's campfire as part of Folk Plus?
I don't think so.
No,
Okay. Do you know offhand what the next theme is coming up?
Yes, it's called What's the Question?
What's the question? So there were references I saw in the advertisement for this particular campfire. What's going on, and what were some of the other song titles that were mentioned in that?
Oh, the themes that we've had?
Yeah. No. For
Uh,
this one, for the what's the question one, some famous song titles that are questions.
oh, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
I gotta look up the reference, but
but
um,
you could also do answers. It says questions and answers.
where have all the children gone? That's another one, or those kinds of
Yeah,
things.
where
So
have all the
that's
flowers gone?
exactly, yeah. So those are 2 of the programs. We have that new song salon, and we have our campfire. Our website, I'm just going to put a link right in the chat box for those of you who are not familiar with the programs that we have. I'm going to just put the program page from our website right in the chat box so you can see what else we have. For those who are in the Los Angeles area, we have an upcoming benefit concert happening at the iconic Los Angeles venue McCabe's that Folk Alliance International honored last year at the Folk Alliance conference. McCabe's is an awesome guitar shop / concert venue. And we have Wendy Waldman, who many of you will know, but if you don't know, you certainly know her music. She is one of the co-writers of that song, Save the Best for Last. So she will be performing. James Lee Stanley will be performing. Lawrence Juber, like virtuoso guitar player, will be performing. And then we have a special guest who we will be announcing next week, I think on Monday or Tuesday, who the special guest is, and I'm really excited for that. And some other programs. So that's what happens year round. It's an all volunteer run organization. And so the board of directors is, the biggest heavy lifters, but also we have other volunteers who are helping with our social media, with our newsletter, and also, of course, with the production of the conference. So, what else can I say about Far West before I open up for questions? Just looking over here. Oh, if you were not in the official showcase application Folk Plus event that just happened an hour or two ago, I will reiterate that the conference registration is currently open. The official application is due if you're applying for an official showcase or would like to. Those are due on June 15th, so that's coming up quick. The applications are pretty simple. It's just asking for a website, an EPK link if you have it, and also I think 2 performance videos. And that's your whole application. It's an online application. You don't have to download it as we've had in the past. And we have scholarship money available. So there's a link on the website for information on that. If attending the conference is a financial hardship, we want to be able to help you out. And if it's not a financial hardship, we're really grateful for the folks who are able to pay the full price. As an all volunteer run organization, we really do a lot of sweat equity. And so all the funds are put directly into producing the conference, paying for the hotel and all of that stuff. So it's some people can afford it. Some people need a little help, and it's all good. What else do we have? I think I might just open it up for, well, I'll say one more thing, that if you own a small business or a large business, we are also, as part of the conference, currently open for sponsors and some branded opportunities for the conference as well. So I'll just throw that in. Anything phonographic in Philly, raised hand. Yes, Steve, what's up? Oh, that's
Okay. Yeah, that's the name of the column I've been writing for 30 years.
Oh.
Anyhow, I asked this morning, and I'm going to ask it every other group except NERFA. Do you guys, during your conference, have a Wisdom of the Elders session?
That's a great question. I came onto the board and started attending the conferences during the pandemic. And so we have only had one conference in person that I've been a part of. As much as, even though I'm president here, I still kind of consider myself a little bit of a newbie. We have something called Best of the West, where we honor an artist and an ambassador, 2 separate awards. For both of those, they are people who have had longevity in their presence in the Western side of the US in the folk music world. And so that is not, it's not a quote unquote wisdom of the elders, but it's a recognition of elders in that community on those 2 sides. I don't think that we have that program, Wisdom of the Elders, but I'm making a note of it right now because I've been wanting to bring it up to the conference programming team.
I think
Penelope.
I just finish? I wanted to just follow up on it. I think it's important. I'm a preservationist. I'm an archivist.
Yeah.
So you'll see that wherever I go. I'm trying to preserve things so that they're available. But some of the elder generation are regional living and can't travel. I mean, I take David Amram, for example, who's done a few of those at NERFA. But I keep looking for those because they need to be preserved and while they're living, and they can be, as long as YouTube lasts, they can they can be there answering the questions. So that's a good idea to think about that, but thanks for confirming.
Yeah, thank you so much for your question, Steve. And Penelope, you had a response to that.
Yeah, I wanted to speak to that because I've been attending since, I don't know, 2007, I think, and or 2008. And so the honorees at Best of the West also get a session time. And some years there's a lifetime achievement award as well. And each of those honorees get some time, and that's often when it's kind of the equivalent of the wisdom of the elders. And then often there are sessions. Some of my favorite ones have been interviews and sessions with people who do the kind of work that you're talking about, Steve, the people that have been recording unknown artists and then bring them into some notice and so forth. So some of that is session based, even though we don't have anything that's specifically called Wisdom of the Elders. It has been a focus. Now, the difference, though, to my knowledge, is that those are not recorded unless they make specific arrangements for recording that. And I think that that would be a really positive thing if we were able to record them and archive them and make them available.
Thank you so much, Penelope. I'm making a couple of notes from something that you just said. Other questions or thoughts? Who here, can you let me know who here has been to a Far West conference? Raise your hand, raise your icon hand or your real hand. Ethan, right? So a lot of you have not been. And then what about, thank you, Michael, are you raising your hand for the you've been to the conference, I think?
Yes.
Yeah. And then who here has attended one of our virtual events, our campfires, for example? Yeah, love it. Okay, cool. Great. Love it, love it. Let's just open it up to any questions, comments, anything you want to know about Far West. I will do my best, and Penelope might be able to add a lot more. But I'll do my best to answer any questions that come up. Yeah, Stephen.
Thank you. I logged into this meeting a little bit late, and you were talking about, someone was talking about technical things for the performance, the campfire tonight. I had a question about that as well. Do I need to be able to play music or play my microphone through my computer and interface, or can I just perform into the Mac, into the laptop camera? Is that okay? Or
Have you done any live stream performing?
No, I've just played into the camera, but I haven't ever done the thing where I, use my interface.
So it sounds like we're not going to have the one-on-one sound check today for today's campfire, but Ethan put into the link or into the chat box a link that I recommend you check out before you attend the campfire, because of the technology, it's not difficult, but it's not as simple as just turning on your microphone and going, because the way that Zoom works is it prioritizes either your instrument or your voice. And when you're doing both at the same time, they cancel each other out, and it's not really listenable on the other side. So you want to toggle the settings, and that video, I think, will let you know how to do that, so that it will allow for chordal sounds, polyphonic sounds.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
I see the link now, so I'll do that. Thank you.
Great. Yeah. Other questions? I want to give you a link to, on our website. We've been crowdsourcing this page on our website, which I'm putting in the chat box right now. which is a list of resources in the Far West region that might be helpful for you. Including tools that we use at the top of this page, but then radio stations in our region. This is not a complete list, but it's just been an ongoing work in progress. Festivals and organizations. So that's one resource that might be helpful for you. Also on the top level just resource page on our website, and I'll put that in the link or in the chat box. You can find out a little bit more about the Larman Scholarship. If you are on the both ends of the spectrum, there's the folks that need a little bit and there's the folks that can give a little bit. And so there's information on our website for both ends. If you're interested in contributing to the Larman Scholarship to help support people's attendance at the conference or the Folk Musicians Relief Fund, there's information there. Or if you're on the other side and you need a little bit of help, there's some information there. If you want to know about our board of directors, we serve 3 years. Our terms on the board are 3 years long. And the just like all the other regions, the membership, the folks who are Folk Alliance International members who live in our region or have opted into our region, they are the ones that get to nominate and vote on who serves on the board of directors. And I want to share with you the page so that you can see who is on the current board. We're in the middle of finalizing our executive committee right now for this new year. Our year starts in May, and we're in the middle of finalizing, but I was asked to serve as president again. Stephen Bon Garvin, who many of you know because he goes to all of the conferences. He is serving again, I believe, as our vice president. Gabby Castro is continuing as our treasurer, and Taryn Schindler, I believe, is stepping in as secretary. She is a presenter. She has a venue in San Pedro, California, which is just a little south of Los Angeles. So you can see the other folks who are the fine folks. If for some reason it doesn't load all the people, just refresh that page and then scroll down again. I've been having a disruption, as at least on my side. When I first log into it, it only shows like 7 names, but there's a few more. Who's coming? Who's already registered for this year's conference? Couple of you. Cool, cool, cool. Yay. And who's thinking about it? Oh, Ethan's crying. Who's thinking about it? Elisa, are we going to have you? You going to get yourself down here to LA?
I would really love to, but I had already committed to going to Womax
That's right.
in Manchester, which is a bummer because I wish I could do both, but next year, West, hopefully.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. Oh, Emmy Lost in Space, you put in your application. Fantastic. Great, great. We had a good group of California or Alaskans last year, which was really fun. Do you know Roland Roberts, Emmy?
I do, absolutely, yes.
Yeah, so he came down and a couple of folks in his band, and that was fun. And you know, I just started to see a bridge between Anchorage or he's not even in Anchorage. He's outside, I think, quite a bit. But between Alaska and Southern California, which is a super cool bridge because I know folks from down here would like to be able to get up there. And I know folks up there also come down here. Oh, you
Yeah,
shoot.
I was hosting.
Yes. Okay.
Oh yeah, I was hosting the Alaska room, co-hosting last at the International Folk Alliance. So I would love to get down if I can and yes, check out your conference. So fingers crossed it works out with work. So
Let's get another Alaska room.
yes.
Let's get you and Roland doing an Alaska room. That would be fun. So yeah, like the other regions, we also have private showcases late at night. And we have not yet opened our application to host those rooms, but that's coming very, very, very soon. I think this month, June, I think within the next couple of weeks. So there's that. Yeah, Penelope, I saw your hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to point out another thing about our region that I really like is that we have partnered with other related arts in different years. So some years we've partnered with people who do contra dancing and had a session for that. And we've also done the Sunday afternoon storytelling sessions, which is fabulous. And I like that idea that the creativity of each supporting the other.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we had that. We had for a number of years a storytelling expo on Sundays after the music stuff kind of allowed both storytellers to have their space because they're always storytellers, and a lot of the musicians are also storytellers. To kind of lay down their instrument and just work with their stories. And then also it gave people a space to just stay a little longer. It's a really special time. And, it wasn't like, okay, don't let the screen door hit you on the way out. It was like, no, linger, sit on the porch, have a lemonade, and let's do the storytelling expo. So yeah. And the contra dancing last year during the cocktail hours was fun.
And then we have the coffee house, which is a wonderful way for people to get a chance to play a song.
Oh, the Millsaps Coffee House. Yeah, that was last year. I wish Tina Ross was here actually. She's in the NERFA region, but um to uh she came out to Far West last year and she was the host of it. But the Millsaps Coffee House has been going on for a long time, and it's one of the highlights of our conference, which is basically opportunities to showcase throughout the whole day for throughout the conference. And it's just happening. It's a really beloved space for attendees to just kind of sit and enjoy music whenever they want, and also for the performers to have the opportunity during the daylight hours to share their music. Yeah, Jennifer.
Just wanted to add, I said this at the SWRFA meeting earlier today. One of the huge benefits of going to a regional conference is that they are smaller than the international conference. And frankly, it's a lot easier to make connections in a regional conference than it is the international conference. It's an excellent way to connect with people in a more intimate space and to make these connections. I mean, we already talked about Ariel did an excellent job during the official showcase webinar earlier today, application webinar, talking about like why you would attend a regional event and why you would choose to apply for that regional event. If you're interested in touring in that area, it's a great reason to go to Far West if you want to make connections in that area. But absolutely, especially if you plan on going to the international conference eventually, being at a region and making those connections make it a lot easier to show up at Folk Alliance International and already have a community of people that you know, so that you're not lost. So you're not a lost little person in a sea of 2,500 people. So highly encourage folks to first go to a regional conference before checking out the international conference. We still want you to come and join us in Montreal. But if you have an opportunity to go to any of our regions, absolutely encourage you to do that.
Jennifer, thanks for mentioning that because we just a couple hours ago did the official showcase panel discussion. It's like there were things that I was thinking about in that discussion that I'm just assuming everybody in this room was at that one. And so we did talk a little bit about that. And I'm a touring artist myself, and so I am oriented toward and very compassionate toward the journey of the performing artist, whether it's a traditional artist or a contemporary singer-songwriter like I am. Artists help artists. So one of the reasons to go to Far West is that, it's really funny too, actually. I'll just interrupt myself and pivot to this thought, which is that Los Angeles is one of the major entertainment centers of the world. We create the media that the rest of the world listens to. And it's very easy for me as an Angelino. It's easy to look at the city and just see the major music industry. But the Far West community is very much about just the grassroots folk community. And in many ways, Los Angeles is exactly the same as the rest of the western side of the US and Canada, which is that we're really scrappy. It's very much like the Wild West. And a lot of the opportunities for performing out here are created by fellow artists. It's the fellow artists that are creating the song series at the Crystal store in Santa Monica, or at it's always like crystals and tarot cards, at the tarot card store in Pasadena, or it's at like the wine bars, it's the artists who are the creative spirit behind all of these series. And so I think that Far West is very much a central piece of the coming together of those grassroots, Wild West, scrappy, DIY series that have been cropping up all over this area. And as a touring songwriter, when I go to any of the other regional conferences that are outside of my region, I build a tour around it so that it makes it so that I'm not just flying to another part of the country for a conference and then leaving. I'm coming over to the Northeast or the Chicago area for Farm or NERFA, or those are the two that I've been to. And I'm building a whole tour around it. So I'm getting to know the area. I'm testing my music in those markets and seeing, does this market jive with what I'm doing? Do I fit here as an artist? And I'm also attending the conferences. So I'm meeting folks in those areas and, building those one-to-one personal connections. I think we have until till 25 after. Is that right?
Absolutely, 3:25.
So
We can break early if folks want to. It's up to you, Ariel, how to spend the time.
I'm happy to stay here if anybody has, other thoughts and questions. We have a couple more minutes. So, Tom, thanks for being here. Yeah. And Stephen, hope to see you at Far West in 2025. We'll be in the Pacific Northwest in Vancouver, Washington, which is not Vancouver.
Yeah, it is. Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, today is my first interaction with any Folk Alliance International thing at all. So I'm just getting that education today. So
oh my gosh,
glad.
You found yourself in a good spot. Congratulations.
Yeah. Glad to be here.
I would love to know how you found out about this, Stephen.
I've just gotten more active. My kids are starting to graduate high school, and I want to tour. I've never done that because I've been more stationary. And so I'm trying to learn, how to do the thing, how to write and record and perform and tour. And so I'm just looking into more opportunities, and I stumbled across Folk Alliance. I've heard of Folk Alliance, for a lot of years, but I've never really looked into how to get connected. I think I've run into that it seems like touring was more of a focus when I've looked into it before or something. I don't know. I got that impression, but to learn about the regional groups today has been really cool. So I'm looking forward to learning more and connecting with the people in the Southeast here.
Love it. Awesome. Derek asked a question in the chat box if there was a way on the Far West website to promote artists' shows. And we don't have a communal bulletin board or anything like that on the website. It's really a resource page about the organization, but artists are welcome to post their gigs, especially if they're regional. It doesn't make much sense to be posting about a Chicago tour on the Far West page, but I just put a Facebook group link in the chat box, and that's for our Far West gig page, and you're welcome to post your regional gigs there. And then I just put the Far West Facebook page there, and so that's one way to follow the information or to get information about what's happening with Far West. Especially, I would urge you, actually, especially right now, if you're not on the Far West mailing list, which you can sign up for on our website, I would urge you to get on the Far West mailing list right now, because we are like I said, we're in the shoulder deep part of planning for our conference in October, and there's a lot of information that's going to be rolling out. If you're thinking about attending Far West this year, or you just want to get a sense of it as you're planning for future Far West conference attendance, you can join the mailing list and you'll get a sense of, okay, when are official showcases, when are they due, when are the private showcase host applications due, what else is happening, besides what we've spoken about here.
Ariel, I just want to mention to folks the amount of time and energy that the board of Far West and the board of all regions put towards putting on this regional conference. I don't think folks understand how much goes into planning this, and thank you so much for volunteering your time and making this event a reality each year. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jennifer. Well, I mean, I just want to throw it right back at you because I freaking love Folk Alliance, and I'm really grateful that the Folk Alliance International organization has been making more and more effort to help out the regions and to bring the regions together in spaces like this, but also, yeah, I mean, we are all volunteer run organization, and with those board members turning over every 3 years, or if they serve multiple terms, there's that strong and steady presence of Folk Alliance International is becoming a really helpful resource. So thank you. Yeah. I felt like I wanted to say one more thing before we all leave. I'm also besides being a touring musician and a yoga studio owner and the program manager for another music nonprofit called the Sona Foundation, which creates programs for songwriters in mental health, career development, and financial wellness. And I also teach creative writing at a university. I think that with all of this, my experience, especially with the literary world, has helped me to resolve some things that like music felt so close to my heart that I didn't have the distance. And the literary world, something about the conversations that have happened in that space in my life have helped me to bring them back into the music world. And one of those conversations has to do with a study that was done a number of years ago with the New Yorker magazine, Atlantic, a whole bunch of literary journals. The study was looking at gender disparity across literary journals and what the journals were publishing. And the journals were, by and large, publishing mostly male voices. And there was an organization that came out of that and went back to these journals and said, why are you publishing men and not women? And the journal said, because the women are not submitting. And so from that, an organization in the literary space was created called Women Who Submit. And they celebrate rejections. They celebrate those decline letters, because the point is that you're just throwing your hat in the ring. You are doing the work. You are participating, because the magazines cannot accept women writers if the women writers are not applying and not submitting their work. And I bring that back into the music space and just say, regardless of gender, that idea that if you're not participating, you can't be asked to participate. If you're not sending your work out for those official showcase applications or anything else, you can't be asked to be a part of it. And oftentimes it's not linear. You go toward the bullseye, but something over here ends up inviting you in, and you end up closer to where you're trying to go in a meandering sort of way. It's a weird, this is what I'm finding as an artist in this music space. So I would just say, come to Far West or go to other regional conferences, be part of the community, and submit your work. Speaking to the artists, play, just participate, sit around the campfire, and maybe I'll see you in the campfire later this afternoon, the virtual one. So that's it. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Ariel. We'll see
Yeah,
y'all. What's next? We should, if y'all want to hit the tail end of the webinar that's happening right now. What is that called? I think it's diversifying our stages. That ends well in like 15 minutes. You can get the last 15 minutes of that. And then we also have affinity group that starts at 3:45 or 1:45 Pacific time for women. Artist Q&A, Flammy Grant, and then Javier Yara this afternoon. So there's a lot of meaty stuff before the campfire circle at 4:30 Pacific. No, wait, 3:30 Pacific time. So close.
3:30.
3:30 Pacific time.
So
3:30.
so
Don't know
much
what
fun being
time
an
Hawaiian
East
it is.
Coast kid during all these discussions because I don't understand either of the numbers you're throwing out.
I
Oh my
don't know what you're talking about either. It's so hard.
You
Two
guys,
30 or 3:30 or
I don't
8:30
know.
or
Just show up on
tomorrow.
a
I don't
30.
know.
Just like show up.
Just don't
We'll be
leave.
someplace. Don't leave. Exactly.
and don't ever leave.
If you do much zooming, you know I've got my clocks all coordinated because I do Zoom singing with people in Europe and
Oh my
all over the place.
That's right. Yeah, I'm right now planning a trip to Spain. I leave for Chicago in a couple of days, and then I go to Spain in 2 weeks. Meanwhile, I'm here on the West Coast and making meetings
Nine
with
hours.
people. It's crazy. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
it is.
between meditations and places I Zoom to, I'm regularly in 5 different time zones. And when it gets to where the clocks change, it gets
that's what is
really
crazy.
interesting for a few weeks.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that does.
Because
Storm, you
everybody
are-
changes at different times.
That's right.
That is true.
Storm, you are always, I see you in all kinds of virtual things. So, Storm, you are definitely all over the place.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Awesome.
send you an email, Ariel. I need to find out from my friend Amelia Hogan came to the conference last year, and I asked her, was it worthwhile? She said yes, but she particularly felt that the volunteering part of it really helped her make connections. So I need to find out what I can do on volunteering.
I love you, Bev. Yes, 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 yes. The
So-
volunteers are so needed.
I'll get you
Absolutely.
I'll get an email out to you, and we'll do that.
Okay, good, good. Thank you. All right, I'll see you all in the next event.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.
Very
Have a
nice
great day, y'all.
presentation.